It is January 2026. Or, at least, that's where we're going for this deep dive.
Time travel. I like it.
We are looking at a future, a very near future, where the landscape of New York workers' comp looks, well, drastically different.
And not in a fun sci-fi way.
No flying cars or robot judges. I mean, the gritty, expensive red tape reality of how claims actually get litigated.
It's funny you say gritty because if you just glance at these documents, they look incredibly dry. I mean, we're looking at proposed amendments to Title 12 of the NYCRR.
Right. Sections 300.1, 301.1, and 301.3.
Exactly. Numbers that would normally put you to sleep.
And usually, yeah, when you see a string of numbers like that, the instinct is to grab a strong coffee.
Okay.
But the stack we have today, which has the raw legal text and a pretty frantic industry commentary, suggests these are not just housekeeping edits.
Far from it. I mean,
Yeah.
if these rules go through as written, we are talking about a fundamental shift in the power dynamics of these cases. Who controls the timeline, who carries the administrative burden, and, crucially, who pays the bills.
And that's our mission today. We're going to decode this stack. We've got a single word swap that strips a procedural guarantee from the defense. We've got a logistical burden shift that has carriers basically acting as travel agents for the other side.
And we have a new fee structure that introduces, well, what you called surge pricing for medical testimony, which I think is terrifyingly accurate.
So let's get into the weeds. I want to start with the text of Section 300.10, Subdivision C. This is the word swap.
The great shall versus may debate.
It sounds like a grammar lesson, but in legal terms, this is atomic, isn't it?
It really is. Context is everything here. In the old world, so before these 2026 proposals, if an employer or their insurance carrier wanted to cross-examine a doctor, the regulations said the referee shall grant an adjournment for that.
Shall.
Shall. It's a command. It binds the judge. It's a procedural right.
So if I'm a defense attorney and I see a doctor's report that looks, I don't know, a little fishy,
Right.
Maybe the doctor says the injury is work-related, but his own notes say the guy hurt his back playing golf, I have a right to say, Your Honor, I need to depose this doctor.
And the judge has to give you the time to do it.
It was a guarantee.
It was a guarantee. You couldn't be shut out. But now, you look at the proposed text for 2026, they've taken a red pen to shall and written in may.
The referee may grant an adjournment.
And just like that, a right becomes a request. It becomes discretionary. The power moves from the parties to the referee, who's just trying to manage the calendar.
Now, the text does say if they deny it, they have to provide a reason, right?
Yes, they must provide a basis for the denial, which prevents them from just saying no because they want to go to lunch early.
Okay, so there's some protection.
Some. But think about the practical side of this. If you have a cranky judge or a judge who feels the case has just dragged on too long, they can shut you down.
And you just lose the ability to cross-examine that doctor.
Potentially, yeah. You're just stuck with the written report. And if that report says 100% disability due to work accident, and you can't question the doctor on how they got there, you lose.
This also gets into the non-appearance rules, doesn't it? Because the text seems to get even more aggressive if the doctor is a no-show.
Oh, it does. This is what I'm calling the one-strike policy. Under these new rules, let's say the referee grants the adjournment using their new discretionary power, and the doctor just fails to appear for that deposition.
Which happens all the time. I mean, doctors are busy, they get called into surgery, they double book.
Constantly. But the new text says if the physician fails to show, the referee is instructed to, and I'm quoting here, proceed to determine the claim based on the evidence in the record.
So time's up. I'm deciding this now.
Exactly. Unless extraordinary circumstances are shown.
Extraordinary circumstances. I feel like lawyers spend their entire careers just arguing about what that phrase means.
They do. And it's usually a very, very high bar. Scheduling conflict isn't extraordinary. A flat tire isn't extraordinary.
My secretary forgot. Definitely not extraordinary.
Not even close. We're talking act of God territory here, so it feels like a trap. You have to beg for the adjournment in the first place, and if you get it, you better hope and pray the doctor shows up, or you forfeit your chance to challenge anything.
It forces the defense to be perfect in a system that's just inherently messy. Which brings us to the second change. Because if you do get that adjournment, who has to make it happen?
Ah, yes. Section 300.0, subdivision E, the logistics bomb.
I honestly read this 3 times to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. It says, regardless of which party requests the opportunity to depose an opposing party's medical witness.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just pause on regardless.
It's a very powerful word. It means even if the claimant's attorney, the plaintiff's side, is the one who says, I want to depose the carrier's consultant.
Or I want to depose my own doctor to strengthen my case.
Even then, the burden falls 100% on the employer or the carrier.
The defense side.
The defense side. And when we say burden, we're not just talking about making a quick phone call.
No, the list of duties here it's exhaustive.
It is. If you're the carrier, you are now the personal assistant for this deposition. You have to contact the witness to schedule it. You have to issue the subpoenas. You have to hire the stenographer, the court reporter. You have to file the minutes with the board, serve copies to everyone.
And of course, you have to pay for all of it.
Bear all costs related to taking the deposition. That is the exact phrase.
Okay, let's play this out. I'm a claimant's attorney. I have a case that's maybe a little borderline, and I want to put some pressure on the insurance company to settle. Under these rules, can I just start requesting depositions for, I don't know, 5 different doctors?
Theoretically, yes.
And I pay nothing. I don't even have to find a court reporter.
You send the request. The carrier writes the checks, hires the staff, chases the doctors, and does all the admin work.
That sounds, well, I'm looking at the industry commentary we have. They're calling this a radical shift.
It is. The commentary is basically screaming about moral hazard. You know, in economics, that's when you take a risk because you know someone else is going to bear the cost.
Like ordering the lobster because you're not paying a bill.
Exactly. The commentary warns this incentivizes, and I'm quoting, less than scrupulous counsel to demand the production of every single medical provider in the file. It costs them $0 and 0 hours of their time.
But it costs the defense thousands.
It's asymmetric warfare. It creates massive leverage. If a claim is worth, say, $5,000, but it's going to cost the carrier $4,000 just to depose the doctors to fight it, what are they going to do?
Settle every time.
They're going to settle every time.
Now, to be fair, and we always try to look at the logic behind a rule, why would the board do this? There has to be a rationale.
Of course, and it's about access to justice. The argument is that injured workers, who are often out of work and financially strapped, can't afford the cost of truth. A $1,000 deposition fee is a huge barrier. So by shifting the cost, you are, in theory, leveling the playing field.
That makes sense. You don't want someone to lose a valid claim just because they can't afford this stenographer.
Right. But the commentary argues the pendulum has swung way too far. It's the difference between ensuring access and just handing someone a blank check. And speaking of checks, we have to talk about the numbers.
Theme number 3, the new price tag. Sections 301.1 and 301.3.
The death of the flat fee.
So walk us through the math. Let's say I'm a doctor testifying in 2025. Before this, what do I get paid?
Before these changes, it was a simple flat fee, $450 for physicians and podiatrists. Predictable. It didn't matter if it took 20 minutes or 2 hours.
And in the brave new world of 2026.
Now we move to an hourly model with increments. And there's a timeline twist. The base fee for the first hour is now $500.
A $50 raise. Okay, not earth-shattering.
But it's plus $125 for every additional 15-minute increment.
So the meter is officially running.
The taxi meter is definitely running. But here's the kicker. That is the timely rate. That only applies if the carrier pays within 45 days.
45 days. That seems reasonable. But anyone who works in a big company knows invoices can get lost. What happens on day 46?
The price explodes. If that payment is late, the base fee for that first hour jumps from $500 to $700.
Whoa, that's a 40% penalty for being a day late.
Plus interest. The regulations state that unpaid fees will accrue interest just like an unpaid medical bill.
And the increment, does that go up too?
The increment stays at $125. But let's look at the behavior this drives. Let's say you have a difficult case. Deposition runs for 2 hours.
Okay.
Under the old rules, that costs the carrier $450. Under the new rules, assuming they pay on time, it's $500 for the first hour, plus 4 15-minute chunks at $125 each. That's another $500, total, $1,000.
So the cost is more than doubled.
And if their accounting department is slow and they pay on day 46, the base becomes $700, the increments add $500, you are at $1,200.
From $450 to $1,200, that's nearly triple.
And that's just for one doctor. What if you have an orthopedist, a neurologist, a chiropractor?
And the chiropractor rates went up too, right?
They did. Section 301.3. Their old flat fee was $350. The new timely fee is $400 for the first hour, plus $100 per 15 minutes. And if you're late, $600 for the first hour.
You know, from a strategic perspective, if I'm a doctor and I know I get an extra 125 bucks the moment we cross the 60-minute mark. Am I going to be concise?
You tell me. Incentives drive behavior. If wrapping up in 55 minutes costs me money, I might just find a reason to, check my notes a little slower.
And if I'm the claimant's attorney, and I know the insurance company is paying by the minute, maybe I ask a few more follow-up questions.
You have absolutely no financial incentive to be brief. In fact, dragging it out just applies more financial pressure to the other side. You are burning their cash with every single question.
There's a mention in the text about a subpoena exception. A lower fee.
Yes, a small carve-out. If the subpoena is issued by the board or a judge directly, the fee is capped much lower. But that's rare. That's for when the judge wants the doctor there. In 99% of these battles, you're going to be paying the hourly market rate.
So when we step back, we have to synthesize all this. You can't just look at the fee hike in a vacuum.
No, you have to stack them. That's theme 4, the strategic fallout.
Okay, let's build the stack. Layer 1. The judge has discretion to deny your adjournment.
So you're under time pressure. You have to get it done now.
Layer 2. You, the carrier, have to organize and pay for every deposition, even the ones you didn't ask for.
So your administrative load skyrockets, and your control over costs just plummets because you're paying for the other side's strategy.
Layer 3. The costs themselves are double or triple, with a surge price penalty if you're not lightning fast with that check.
Precisely. And let me add one more tiny, painful layer from Section 300.17, the transcript deadline.
Oh, right, the no extensions rule. I almost forgot that one.
The new rule says requests for extensions must be filed before the deadline. No more casual calls to the judge saying, hey, the stenographer's backed up, can I get another week?
So formal requests, tight deadlines, it creates a system with zero tolerance for error.
0. If you miss the payment window, penalty. If you miss the transcript deadline, evidence precluded. If you can't get the doctor to show up, judgment on the record.
The commentary source we have uses the term blank check. They're worried about a proactive strategy from plaintiff attorneys.
And it's a rational worry. I mean, if you represent injured workers, your duty is to zealously represent your client. If the regulations hand you a tool that makes litigation expensive and painful for the other side, you use it. You'd almost be committing malpractice if you didn't.
So the fear is that litigation just becomes prohibitively expensive.
The fear is that the cost of the process starts to exceed the value of the claims. If it costs you $3,000 in fees and admin time to litigate a dispute over a $500 medical bill, the insurance company is just going to pay the bill.
Even if the bill is wrong.
Even if the treatment was unnecessary, because fighting it is just bad business. And when you stop fighting invalid claims, the overall cost of the system, the premiums for employers, goes up.
But let's look at that flip side one more time.
The flip side is that for years, carriers have maybe used the cost of litigation to starve out claimants. They know the claimant can't afford to depose their high-priced doctor, so they say, take this lowball settlement or go away.
So these rules are flipping the script.
Completely. Now the carrier is the one bleeding cash the longer things go on. The leverage has moved across the table.
So we are deep in the weeds of January 2026. What happens next? The source material says this isn't happening in a vacuum.
No, the context is important. There are broader investigations into the comp board mentioned. There have been other recent changes, like the rules around videotaping claimants. The environment is active, and it is very tense.
And a commentary source is basically a call to arms, isn't it?
It is. They are urging employers and carriers to submit public comments, to coordinate a pushback before these rules are finalized. They see this as the window to say, wait a minute, this is going to break the system.
Because once it's in the code, it's the law.
And undoing a regulation is much harder than stopping one.
It's just fascinating how we started with a few dry paragraphs changing shall to may, and ended up here in a battle over the fundamental economics of justice in New York.
That's the power of administrative law. It's boring until it bankrupts you.
So for the listener who might be an adjuster or a defense attorney, let's hit them with the big 3 takeaways, the elevator pitch.
All right. Executive summary. Number 1. Judicial discretion is back. You are no longer entitled to an adjournment. The shall is gone.
Number 2.
You are the bank. The carrier is now responsible for coordinating and paying for all depositions, regardless of who asked for them.
And number 3.
The price is up. Flat fees are dead. We're on an hourly model with stiff penalties for being late. It's time to check your litigation budget. You might need to add a 0.
Which brings us to our final thought. We talked about intent access to justice versus procedural abuse.
Right. The eternal balance.
And it leaves this lingering question. If we create a system where one side bears 100% of the cost and logistical burden for gathering evidence requested by either side, does that actually streamline justice? Or does it weaponize the administrative process, turning the cost of truth into a settlement bludgeon?
That is the billion-dollar question, and we probably won't know the answer until we see the first wave of decisions in 2026.
We will be watching. Thanks for helping us decode the stack today.
Anytime.
And to you listening, thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you next time.